I'm Gabe Bierman, of course, and today we're learning about consent. These are my students. I've got Casey, Spencer, and Zach with us today, and so this is an application on what consent is and how that reflects in the classroom and outside the classroom during your personal lives. The standard we'll be using today is students will demonstrate the ability to use interpersonal communication skills to enhance health or reduce health risk. And the objective today is the students will define consent and examine the importance of consent and the consequences of non-consent and how that can affect their lives later down the road. And we're going to start out today with just kind of brainstorming some ideas of what consent actually is. So students, what is consent? Zach?
Giving permission.
Giving permission. And we're going to go ahead and write that on our board right here. So Spencer will be our...
What color would you like?
Whatever you like. Keep it colorful. We like having it nice. So giving permission. That's a great one. Okay. Good.
Something verbal.
Please raise your hand.
Oh,
Casey?
like a verbal yes or a verbal no.
Okay. Verbal. Okay.
I would just say talking it out.
Talking it out?
Talking.
That's
Having a
verbal.
pre-conversation.
Yeah.
An agreement between both parties.
An
Agreements,
agreement.
that's what
That's a good one. Good.
Put the
Good.
words right under my mouth.
Casey?
Don't assume.
Okay. No assumptions. That's a good one.
That's
Might have broken marker, sir.
What? Why are you mixing up the colors?
Because this one's not supposed to
Keep
be
it colorful.
on the thing.
Oh,
So you said, wait, what was it?
no assumptions.
assumptions. No assumptions.
Notice how it is not connected to consent.
Oh.
Boom.
Okay. Okay.
It wasn't
So do you need a written agreement for consent? Do you need to put it on paper or anything?
No.
No, you just
Just
both
need
parties
the
have to
verbal.
agree?
Verbal.
Okay. Alright, you can go ahead and put our board back up into place. Oh, and if you could put your phones away, please, so then we stay engaged in the classroom, that'd be great.
Mine is away.
Thank you, Casey. Good job. Alright, now that we've kind of laid the foundation of what consent is and how it can affect us, we're going to create some posters. And so here's some markers. And since we don't have a full classroom, I'd split them up like 4 people in a group, but today we're going to have 2 in a group and then 1. So Zach and Spencer will be together, and then Casey will be by herself. And so here's your paper. You guys can create your poster. And here are the guidelines. I'll read them off to you so you know what's going to happen. You will need to define consent and what it actually is. What does consent sound like? Examples of when to use consent. What does non-consent sound like? What can happen if someone ignores consent? What does consent look like? So draw me a picture or whatever. And then, is it legible, effort, organizational, and does it include the checklist on the back? Sound good? What's the fun?
I'm sorry.
I need to draw consent.
Draw a picture, okay? You can make conversation between each
it
other,
can be
okay?
a verbal agreement.
Yeah, okay. Here's your checklist. I'll go around and help you guys out with anything.
Does it have to be a picture or can it be word?
You can draw a picture. You can.
Non-consent.
It's your poster. You do it how you please. Okay. Make it colorful. So people will come and look at your poster, so they can learn what we're doing in class.
Agreeable type of Parkinson.
Good. Okay. We're gonna have like a 2-minute timer. So I'm gonna set my timer real quick for 2 minutes, and then once that goes off,
Yeah,
what you guys
what
are
else do we need?
What does consent sound like? Yes, we can have sex. Or hold hands.
Yes, it does not have to be necessarily sex. It could be oral sex, anal sex, whichever one you would prefer, I guess.
Examples of, is this who, how,
Whom?
whom,
Whom?
is this whom,
Examples of when.
oh, when,
When? Got this. That's a bet.
Good job. Okay. Good.
what does non-consent sound like?
No.
Good.
Okay.
What can happen if someone ignores consent?
What happens if they don't go to jail? What happens if you don't tell anybody but you? Like, so the girl is too scared to tell anybody about it or something.
PTSD.
Okay. There we go.
Usually they're okay, but there's usually a second one too.
Yeah, we can get out the
You
bottom.
shouldn't want to like tic-tac-toe board.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's good.
draw a little. This is like your thoughts.
Yes.
Your thought bubbles?
Yeah, because it can affect those.
Because it
that
can
don't
affect
get
your
it.
emotional life as well. Okay.
What does consent look like? Draw a picture.
It's all right. We're high schoolers here. We don't need to. Doesn't need to just draw stick figures. We don't need a detailed description or nothing. We know our majors.
We're gonna have holding hands in this one.
Okay, that's fine.
Shouldn't there be like yes? My bad. I thought you were putting all the markers there.
I guess that's not. I need a speech bubble.
That's good. So hey, do both people need to have consent or just one person? Because then you don't know if the other one needs consent or
The
not.
thought bubble was in my way.
Oh, okay. Casey, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I drew a picture,
Good picture. Good
Yes,
job.
Mr.
She
Goodman.
copied us.
Thank you. Oh, see that as our timer. So now, does anybody have any questions on what consent is or how can we use it in our lives? No?
No, wait, what?
Did you have any examples or anything? Any questions? Any comments about what consent is?
I mean, everybody.
Everybody that deals with it, you see it all the time. Does consent have to be about sex?
No.
No. So you could say it could be about anything.
About borrowing stuff.
Borrowing stuff. Hey, can I drive your car? It doesn't necessarily
I
have to be
borrowed
about
the football
sex.
and never gave it back to you
Yes.
because we lost it.
Yes, that's a very good thing. All right, class. Well, you're dismissed. Hopefully you have a great day.